Welcome back, everybody. This is Danny Angel, the Roots of Ambition podcast. Today is another special day. We got the one and only. Before I even say his name, I'm going to introduce him really quick. Pay attention because this one's going to go far, wide, and long, baby. Today's guest is a true pioneer in digital media. From going viral on Vine to building a family-centered empire on YouTube. Ronnie Banks in the building.
Ronnie Banks
has lived multiple lives in front of the camera. He's a father, an entrepreneur, and a founder of the Family Fed Foundation, using his platform to inspire, evolve, and give back. Mr. Ronnie Banks, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome to the Roots of Ambition, baby.
Welcome
Let's
to the
go, man.
Ronnie.
I always love a good introduction.
Did I do good?
You did good.
I did all right.
You did good.
All right. Man, before we even jump into this, dude, so I bet you a lot of people are like, how the hell did you guys get Ronnie Banks on the podcast?
Yeah.
I need to tell this story. It's the first thing I told you when we started talking. We decided to start the Roots of Ambition, and the first thing I did, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later after talking with you, Angel,
Yeah.
I went to my shop, and I told Crystal and Michelle, my wife and my sister-in-law, man, like it would be really cool, right? Like if we found someone locally who can help, kind of like just guide us and inject their steroids into what we're trying to do here, right? And it was just me speaking to them, right? There was no agenda, nothing behind it. I was just speaking out loud. And fast forward maybe a week or two, I get a phone call from my wife, Michelle. She's like, "Hey, some dude that's very popular, has a huge following, just moved in next door to us." So we had just opened a new shop in here in Brentwood, and she's like, "This dude, Ronnie Banks." And then Crystal in the background was like, "Yeah, Ronnie Banks. He's like, this guy's a stud, man. I followed him. He's a handsome dude. He's all Danny. Like, you spoke it into existence. This dude is literally moving in." I'm like, "Man, who the hell is Ronnie Banks?" So I get on, I'm like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." Then I call my son, and my son's like, "Yeah, dude, I follow him forever." Right? Like, Ronnie Banks is moving next door to you?
Wow.
Bro, so I remember I got back, and I'm like, I'm like a little creep. I'm like, I gotta see this dude, bro. So I started looking over like, God damn. So I took a picture and I sent it to my son. He's like, "Yeah, that's Ronnie Banks, bro." Right? So I was like, man, I don't wanna go and freak him out and be like, oh, just, I'm gonna give him a couple days to settle in. But yeah, man, so the minute that I introduced myself to you, bro, you were very polite, you're very respectful, right? You're a very humbling dude. And more importantly, we had an attachment right away because I knew we're both family men. We're family orientated, right? And after doing my research and watching everything that you've done, man, I take my hat off to you, what you've been able to build, what you're doing. And not only that, just getting to know you, I know legitimately it comes from your heart, bro. And that's one thing that attached me to you immediately. And that's why I told Angel, "Hey, bro, hey, what we're doing, we need to do something with Ronnie here."
Yeah.
What are the odds of him moving right next door to me, bro? And if we don't take advantage of this, or at least try to start something,
It's God, man.
Anyway, exactly, it's God, bro. Exactly. So here we are. Here we are, bro. Welcome to the club, man. Welcome to the show. Here we go, dog.
I'm ready, guys. I'm ready. Thank you so
welcome,
much.
Ronnie. Thanks for being here. And same. I second everything Danny just said. He called me, same thing. Super excited. Ronnie Banks, and I was the same thing. It's like, who's Ronnie Banks?
Right.
I don't know who Ronnie Banks is. And, we do what we always do. You call the young people in your life, and like everybody's like, like, oh, okay,
cool.
What was more cool, bro, is that my son had some friends over for a UFC fight party, and then my son tells his friends, and they're like, "Oh, fucking Ronnie Banks! How the hell did you get here?" I'm like, "I went to school with him," right? Wow. And it was pretty cool, man. They're like, "Yeah, dude, that dude's, man, he's the shit, bro. He knows what he's doing, bro." So yeah, this is awesome, man.
Thank you.
Awesome, bro.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
That makes me excited, bro. I I like hearing stuff like that because, you know, a lot of the time, especially locally, bro, like I went to high school down the street, you know what I mean? So it was a love-hate relationship, definitely, because that's when I was forming Ronnie Banks online, was in high school and middle school. And some people liked what I was doing, and this is back when nobody was doing, like nobody was recording themselves. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna ask you that
15
question.
years ago. So
being an influencer wasn't a thing.
there's no such thing as an influencer. That's a new term. I was just a guy who recorded himself, or a YouTuber was really the term, because I was really like, people were trying to be YouTubers and not even doing that, right? So, and this is when I was just even on Tumblr back then. The Tumblr was the site back then. Vine wasn't even a thing yet. I was still forming myself and what I wanted to be. So at the time, like, I went to Freedom, for people who do and don't know, but then like all the rival schools really took advantage of us being the rival school, and I was like the person that they could utilize to like pick on, right? So Twitter at the time ate me up daily, bro. Like, going to the football game, the basketball games. I didn't play football, but the basketball games when I was on the team, they like even we went to Heritage. We played against Heritage. And they made this like 6-foot blow up of a photo of me when I was doing like this picture. I did a lot of cringy photos back then. I was young. So I had this picture when I had like my shirt off and I was doing like a quiet. So during free throws, they put up this huge blow up of me, and like this. So it was all fun and games. Now that I'm an adult, I'm sure everybody who local, they had their fun and stuff. So,
but how was the feeling at that time? Because you were young. Like how were you taking? Because
so cyberbullying was like brand new,
right?
For the most part, not brand new, but it was, you know, the cultivation of social media and people having an input and making comments, right? So. This is why now I have a lot of thicker skin, but in the beginning, I had to develop that skin, right? So in the beginning,
I was just gonna ask,
it's like doing hard labor work, right? Like your hands in the beginning real soft,
and then calluses,
you got to build up that skin tissue, right? So metaphorically speaking, that's what I had to do. So keep in mind, you know, I had my own real life situations going on, aside from trying to be a social media presence. So at the time, hearing certain things like people saying what they thought I was, or how I acted was this way or that way, and it was hard. But at the time, I had a really good group of friends, and I still do. I still have that same group of friends, which shows a lot, right? So, you know, just kind of putting my head down into basketball at the time, my craft, which was making videos, and my family, because I had a lot of family issues going on.
In the comments, there was never a time where it discouraged you, like maybe I shouldn't do this?
All the time. And so I like a lot of the time, videos that I wish I still had, I don't have anymore because I was affected by what people were saying. And now that I'm an adult and I don't care what those comments said, I wish I had those memories of when I was just being myself and my true, authentic self back then, who really had no sense of like, I can't say or do this because of the reaction. I just was doing it. And that's like my best content is my content when I first started, to be honest. Because I was young and I was just me,
So
pubescent.
So at what point, like, I'm sure that your name started to get out there and your views started coming in and you started getting very popular. Like, at what point did your parents ever kind of step in and say, hey, you know, you might have something here? Or did you go to them and say, hey, I think, you know, like, eventually money was going to come your direction, or opportunities to make money from what you were doing? Right. Did your parents guide you through that, or did you kind of just learn on the whim yourself?
So for the most part, my dad raised me, but I had, my mom, she wasn't around in my early years, and she was, but she wasn't, you know, that's a whole story within itself. Maybe we'll cover that. And then I had a stepmom for a little while too. But then once like my growing years started, like exiting middle school, my dad was single. So my dad had to raise us on our own. And it was really the years where we have to almost really rely on parents as much as you think when you're a teenager, like, I don't need you guys anymore, you really do.
Of course.
More so in the teenage
Can you say that directly
years.
to the camera for my son?
You need your daddy, man. So that was like a huge part of was a huge part of it. And at the time, my dad was my manager.
Oh, okay.
So like, this is like before I was even doing much, but like he would just, he knew this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make videos and I wanted to be a model. So,
okay.
It started off modeling before videos.
Gotcha.
And then people were like, you should make videos. And then or answer questions. It started off doing a Q&A. And then I was being all goofy. And then they were like, you should make videos more. Because it started off just being the photo. Like I was just on photos. So my dad started noticing when people would come up to us in public and being like, oh my God, Ronnie Banks. Or like at the time, even crying or, they still do that. But in a different sense, they're just, sometimes it's overwhelming to see someone that you've watched online. It's not like, I'm not trying to act like I'm all like anything else besides a human, but I even witness it sometimes meeting people now as an adult and I'm like, come across this athlete and I get choked up and I'm like, oh, am I about to cry? You know what I mean? So like, I experienced it myself, so I understand it. But, my dad witnessing that was like, it was weird for him, because that was what I kind of yearned for, was people to like embrace me, because I embraced social media and I wanted people to like what I was doing. So them coming up and crying and hugging and being excited, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to be excited to see me, because I was excited to make videos for them, right? Yeah. So for my dad to be on the outside perspective, watching that, and keep in mind, my dad's always told me the man that wants to see you do better than himself is always going to be your father.
Always.
No. Because, and that's what he instilled that into me, because I want my son to be 10 times greater, whether it's he wants to make videos or he wants to be an athlete or he wants to just do business or whatever he wants to do, bro, just be better than me. And I've created one hell of a platform, son. Yeah. And that's what my dad said. And no matter if the reality of really having a platform or not, my dad having no platform stood on this platform, because that's what you believe in. So that's what my dad was just like, man, like, if this is what you want to do, and keep in mind at the time, I was really into basketball as much as creating the videos, because I thought basketball was going to be my way out. So like I was, like dunking the ball in like 8th grade and stuff. And like, I had this good setup for me in the future. If I were to put my mind to playing basketball, I had the potential to do it, because I had the height, I had the resources. So I remember the day, and it was a specific day. I was laying there after a game, both of my knees hurting. I had shin splints, which is where your knees and your shins are like really aching. Yeah. I was jumping all the time, just trying to show my efforts of rebounding and dunking and all that kind of stuff, because I was an underclassman. So my knees were really bad. And I just almost was to the point where I was only, I didn't even want to practice. I just wanted to play in the game, and that was really it. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and it was in a time where I was really starting to bubble on social media, and I was either gonna need to really take basketball more seriously and figure out my health. So he was like, you know what? Do you want to be Ronnie Banks, or do you want to be Ronnie Banks, the basketball player? Yeah. And you got to make that decision, and I'm gonna support you whichever one. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be Ronnie Banks, period.
How quickly were you able to make that decision?
We sat there low-key all night. And we were just talking in his room. And at the time, we were living in my grandfather's house because he had just got divorced. Oh. Sorry, Dad, I'm putting your business out there. But, we're no strangers to being open. So we were in my grandfather's home. He had a room, I had a room, my sister had a room. And we were in his room, and I actually used to use his Mac desktop to make all my content. So I would be in his room making content all day anyway. I was using his computer. So I was using the webcam on it. So we sat there, I was literally sitting in front of the Mac desktop. We didn't even have a desk for it at the time. We were using an old, like a treasure chest trunk. And we had it, instead of sitting this way, we had it laying vertically so I could like prop it up. Yeah. And we had a chair, and I was sitting in the chair. And whenever I'm in a chair, I'm normally always sitting on the back two legs of it. I like to sit back in chairs like that, and I'm sitting back, and he just sat there and he was like, "What do you want to do?" Like, I'll do whatever you want to do. And I eventually I just made a decision. I was like, I think I want to make videos, and I think I think I want to make movies, because at the time I wanted to make my own movie one day. So I was like, I think I want to make a movie.
Right on.
And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay. He was like, okay.
That's a great dad.
Yeah, that's what I'll give to my dad. Is he shaped his life around what me and my sisters wanted forever. Like, since being a kid, if I wanted to do this and I wanted to stop doing that, he knew that I wouldn't enjoy doing this. So we went to that. And my sister wanted to go start cheer. She did cheer and did all that. And he supported her. And even when he didn't, like, he was working great jobs sometimes and then would get laid off and then didn't have a job at some parts. So, like, he did whatever he could. And us growing up that way made us hustlers and made us not have an easy way out for things. So we had to work for what we had. So he definitely gave me a good mindset, even from a young age, to make certain decisions in life and stick with those decisions. So,
man, real quick, bro, let's give your dad some flowers.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Let's go, Pop.
Let's go. Man, that's your man, your dad is the epitome of what all men fathers should be like. And unfortunately, some people are raised with the opposite spectrum of a father, right? And but God blessed you with the leader, right? A true life leader in your family, man. So shouts out to Pops, bro. Shouts out to Pops. I didn't have a dad, right? But for me, the one thing I wanted to do was be the person that I always wanted to my kids, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I achieved those goals. Sometimes I kind of slipped, but ultimately I try to keep moving very positive and forward, bro. How would you say your guys' relationship right now, with all your success and his grandbabies, bro? Is he still as involved with you and your family?
I see this dude every day.
Oh, so he's like your best friend.
Whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
You know, I see my dad every day. Because honestly, he wants to see his grandkids every day.
Yeah.
So that's like super. My wife loves that, because as we spoke off camera, you know, my wife's father passed a couple years ago. So my dad has been nothing short of what she also still needs from, you know, not just from a husband, from a father figure.
Yeah.
He gives his advices. He gives his support wherever she sees fit. Obviously, nothing to replace her dad ever, but it's always good to have that feeling of being able to still call someone that, right? So that's been great. He's what I will say though, just to be real and transparent, and we've had these conversations all the time. I can even catch myself needing to settle back and watch how I talk to my dad, because he's still my dad, right? Because we have such a close relationship, it can almost be a pro and a con. Like I find myself trying to correct him, and he's like, boy, you know what I'm saying? So it's we have that relationship though, where I can just be very transparent with him and he's transparent with me. If we got something to say, we say it, and it's led into a good partnership with him and I, you know.
So man, you are the epitome of consistency in your field, right? Because I don't know a lot about it, and I'm kind of learning as I grow, right? You obviously started at a very early age, and you've done it for how long now? Almost 10, 15 years?
I was 13, so 14 years.
14 years, right?
14 years.
So you've been in business for 14 years, right? What has been the biggest hurdle in your line of business, and what has it taught you moving forward in your line of business?
Considering just the social media and the video creation part, that business, right? Hurdles that I was going through was letting, like as you said earlier, letting people affect what kind of content I created. And now to this date, I'm a lot more understanding of that, so it's more free will. But in a part where I was in my teenage years, still trying to figure out what I wanted to be, whether it was just a funny guy or like a handsome model type-esque guy, right? Do I want to have this weird, you know, aura about me, or do I just want to be open and be funny all the time? And then I also caught myself sometimes not wanting to be the funny guy anymore, and I wanted to be serious. And then I caught myself like trying to create this whole new entity about myself, and it wasn't truly like, because I didn't like that. It was just, oh, you're just goofy.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to be taken serious, or like if I'm just anywhere, like I'm just supposed to be funny all the time.
Yeah.
Or just like always like, hey, crack a joke, clown. Like I didn't
like
want
turn it on every time.
Right. That's not who I am. I mean, granted, I have that about me, but for the most part, I take myself very seriously.
Yeah.
So for people to not take me seriously, I stopped doing it.
Right.
And sometimes you got to not take yourself so seriously, right? And that's what I had to learn. There's a balance between things. And I'm a Libra, keep in mind.
Yeah.
I don't believe in all that other stuff, you know, like my wife and like my sister do. But for the most part, like, okay. But I guess if there is anything, I've always tried to keep balance. And that's the irony of a Libra. So I guess, right? But I tried to find balance in like, I don't want to be always just too funny, and I don't want to be always just too serious. And that was a big hurdle, was trying to find out who I wanted to be, where it was fine to just do all of it.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to be funny and serious or whatever, just do it all. And that's why I now don't put limits on the content I create. I can make any video that I want. I don't care of the perception, other than I just don't want to offend anybody in my content. If that's not happening, I don't care what kind of content I make. It can be funny, it can be sad, it can be funny, it can be adventurous.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So that was a hurdle, was like, what kind of content do I want to create? And this is anything, really.
I think that's the difference also between a character and your unique self, right? Like you're being yourself, you're being honest, and versus like, if I'm just a funny guy, then you have to create a character, because on those times that you don't want to be funny, you have to be a character.
Right.
Versus if you
just myself, And I definitely was playing a character in the beginning.
You were developing.
Because honestly, like it was also like, because I was in school at the time, so like I was face to face with my not haters, but with my viewers, right?
Yeah.
So they gave me their honest opinions to my face all the time, every day. It's high school, kids are ruthless.
Ruthless.
So like I was like so in character mode, like, okay, I'm gonna say this because I know it's gonna make them laugh. Like this joke is gonna be good because they'll like that. Like, and that is a good way to go about things, is like catering to the specific audience. But I just want to cater to anybody and everybody watching, not just this one person that would like that joke or would like this certain video, right? I just wanted to cater to the masses.
Right.
And you know, a lot of people, especially when they're starting, they go for like the topics that are gonna be like offensive or like, you know, controversial
line, bro.
So, you know, you early on you had that like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. So
So
what was like? Is that just your upbringing, or what is that? Like,
so yes, it was my upbringing. I'll go a little bit into it, and maybe we can touch bases on it again. But I want to finish on why that upbringing had me not do those kinds of things. So I grew up in a Christian church, Baptist, no, not a Baptist church, but my dad's gonna wreck me for not knowing the specific, but it was Christian church.
Right.
But this specific church, I don't want to go to the specifics of it right now, but I just wasn't able to do certain things. So I didn't listen to rap music until I was literally a teenager, or I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't able to play sports until we didn't go to the church anymore, because they had their own in-church sports like system going on. So I played like kids softball. That was really it, and that was really it. But we just couldn't do worldly things, meaning like I didn't go to friend's house and spend the night and go do that all the time. Like I would, but that was even breaking the rules, really.
Yeah.
So it just was real, like everything we did was with the church. Like I wore a suit every other day of my life until I was 13 years old.
Wow.
Like from being a baby, I was wearing suits.
Yeah.
Like that's not normally how kids are brought. Like maybe on the Sundays and stuff, but we went to Bible study on Tuesdays. We went to the service on Thursday. Which got moved to Friday or Wednesday. And then we got Sunday, all day Sunday. And then weekends, you're not going in like normal kids that go to their baseball games or to their football games, but we would go to like church picnics and stuff like that, which is good. And then it gave me a lot of morale, and I didn't grow up doing the things that these kids were doing on the streets, quote unquote, right?
Yeah. Right.
I had a little bit of a sheltered upbringing, to be honest. We resented it as children because we wanted the Christmases, we wanted Halloween, I want to dress up, but no, we don't do that. And really the only thing we celebrated was our birthday. And then at that, it was like, well, we don't want to give too much. It was religious and spiritual reasoning behind all the reasons why we didn't do certain things. So growing up, I had this different morale. Like I had like this mindset from even just being born. I didn't do certain things. So I didn't ever have this want or this yearning to go, rob, right? Or like some kids felt like they had. Some kids feel like they have to do that to eat. Yeah. Right. And I can understand that. Yeah. Not understand it like it's okay, but I can understand that feeling from people. Right. So I had a different mindset, and in that mindset, once we didn't go to the church any longer, and I was able to do these worldly things, I jumped into it, but I was more jumping into like, I want Christmas presents, or I want to go trick-or-treating, because keep in mind, I'm still a kid at heart. Yeah. So I just wanted to do those things, and I just wanted to be able to play on a sports team. Like, I was almost 6 foot tall, and I never was really able to learn how to dribble a basketball the right way because I wasn't able to be on a team yet. Right. So keep in mind, the very first year I learned how to play basketball, I started learning how to dunk. I started learning how to do things that kids didn't learn how to do and still can't do their entire life. So I had like a raw talent to me because my dad was a natural athlete and he was a quarterback and all that other stuff. Yeah. But he didn't implement those things into me at an early age consistently. Right. How kids spend their life doing these things. So I took the certain steps of where like I was like, I don't want to go to parties and go get drunk or high because I wasn't around that. Or I didn't even have that yearning to do it even when I was a kid. How kids are sometimes, I can't wait to go to parties. Like I didn't have that for the most part. And I knew I wanted to be somebody one day. And this is before cancel culture even existed. But I knew cancel culture was still just a different name. But like I didn't want to do anything that would ruin my reputation. Meaning, I didn't want to ruin my reputation and go to this party and then do something stupid that's on camera and it's going to be on the internet forever. Yeah. Right? So I was like, I don't want to go there. Like, I don't want to do that. So
you understood that at an early age, bro, by yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, not by myself. I was my surroundings.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I was a product of my surroundings. Like, my dad didn't say my dad didn't say curse words until I was a teenager. Yeah. Like, or at least around us, right? And my dad's read his Bible 4 times front to back, so like he knows scripture. Like I would. He ran the AV. He's a really good tech guy. Not so much anymore. He's a little bit older now. So he barely knew how to use his iPhone. But back then, he knew how to use all the cassette stuff and all that. So he did the AV for the church. But whenever I would sit with him, I would hear him while one of the brothers would be speaking on the podium, he would finish their sentences, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, bro. Yeah. When someone would say a scripture, and you would hear all the brothers, and they're called brothers and sisters in the church, all the brothers who knew their stuff, they would say the scripture with whoever is talking, bro. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And that's what like I wanted to do. Like I wanted to read my Bible and be able to and script memorize, and like that was the things I yearned for when I was a kid, rather than like, oh man, I have hoop dreams. Like, I didn't have the same aspirations. So that took me into adulthood and even being a teenager and stuff. Like, I had different things I wanted to do. My big goal was I want to make a movie one day. And if I'm going to make a movie, I want my reputation to speak for itself. So if I'm going to be a kid and be an asshole on these streets, that may tarnish my dreams one day. Yeah. So that's what I just kept in mind, like all the time. Like even when I did end up going to parties, I was like,
the fact that you have the vision that young is crazy. And I wish the message was out there more, especially nowadays for the youth, because
the message is,
man, I'm so glad there was no social media or phones when I was 13.
I'd have been the opposite of you, bro.
Yeah. I did a lot of dumb shit.
The opposite of you, bro.
Right.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you, bro.
So, I mean, dude, there's so many things we can unpack out of there, bro. But you've been in business for a while, right? I've been in business. I've been around business a lot. But has there ever been an opportunity that you passed up on and that you regretted? Like, damn, bro, I should have jumped on that. What was I thinking? Or like, were you scared, or you second guessed yourself, or maybe the influences around you didn't understand how big of a magnitude that opportunity could have been for you? Were you ever in that situation?
Well, so for the record, I did an episode on television when I was like 15, and it didn't turn out the way I felt. A little underappreciated and overused, if that makes sense. So I had made an appearance on television, and kind of they just used my platform to get more viewers. And then from there, I declined anything that had to do with network television, which I feel I would like to have. I mean, I don't regret anything, because I've learned that if I regret anything, I wouldn't be in the position I'm at right now.
Amen.
So I don't regret nothing in this life. But do I wish I would have taken some opportunities? Yes, because maybe I would still be in this position, but I just would have had that on my resume.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I could have been able to say I did that, right? Yeah. So I kind of shied away from doing TV stuff because even at the time, I just felt like people were gonna just use to try to get the viewers, and it wasn't gonna be like, but that's just business, right? And I had to learn, hey, you have a platform, dude. Use stop harboring this platform as if it's, I mean, granted, like, I don't want to just do anything, but I held it a little bit too sacredly. Yeah. And as I said, taking everything a little bit too serious. Like, if a show wants you to be on the show and they want you to pub it, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But in the time, because I felt so shunned at that moment, I took only that feeling and I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. And it creates a bad, even like the same thing as when I was making content to start off with, I felt like I was, blueprinting a lot of the social media and creating videos and doing this and that, and other people were doing it, and I get so offended, like, they took my video idea. Oh my God. And back then, there was not a lot of videos online. Yeah. So if you took a video idea, you knew who you took it from. Yeah. Right? Because that was the first time that video ever been on. Right. And so I took it to offense all the time. Especially if videos did better than mine. Like, if my video didn't do good and your video got millions and you took my video, I'm like, dude, right? And like, I felt so like imposed to credit. Like, I need my credit. Like, credit, right? So I had to learn a lot of things.
That's you learning.
Yeah, learning experience for sure.
Do you still would like to be on TV or make a movie? Is that something that you still would like to pursue?
That is my dream. I know I'm going to need a lot more money and I'm going to need a lot more resources, and I want to do something more of the Adam Sandler approach, where not only am I directing it, but I'm in it. Right. And that's been my dream. So like, I just know I have that dream, but it may be a little bit arm's reach away, but it's still in reach. So
what kind of movie, like, in general, would you like?
Yeah,
is there like a
what would the premises be?
I want to make a movie. If I had to make a movie, it would be about the things that people don't know about me. And it would kind of be like a biopic. Is that what the word is?
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm all interesting and stuff, but I have a story that I want to tell, and I don't want anyone else to tell my story ever. I want to be the first person to tell my true story. And there's things in even that there's not enough time or enough memory bank space right now that I can remember in this conversation that if I had time to really process out from beginning to end the things that brought me here. And I actually wanted to call it "How Did I Get Here?" Cool. And I already have that movie, but I need a lot more resources. And then other than that, I want to make a funny movie. I have this other movie called Welcome to Utopia that's like more sci-fi and stuff. I want to do an action movie. I want to be a cool character in it.
I can see it, bro. I can see it, man.
I wrote scripts. I used to write scripts all the time.
Well, if you need two oversized Mexicans as background,
more right. Two gangster cholos, all stereotypical. It's good, dude. Right. Hey, we will use that. I'll use that. I'll find somewhere in there.
But I have, and I told Danny this crazy story. But I'm writing. It's funny because I've never wrote anything. But we had a guest that wrote a book, which was one of our really good friends. And then Danny's also been thinking of writing a book. So it's like, I gotta write something. And And so I started writing a sci-fi story.
Oh, wow.
And it's in the works. I told Danny the premise. The premise is just a little kooky, but I think there's something there.
Yeah, that's cool.
The power of smoking herbs, bro.
I didn't know we were going to talk about that, but let's go. We can talk about that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it opens up the mind, man, creativity.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you got connections in that field, or you know people who know people, man. So I really see it. I see it cooking in your future, bro.
Yeah,
most definitely, man.
Right now, I've just really been devoted like my entire life to my kids, so it's kind of hard to even have these other aspirations right now, you know.
So that's kind of that's the direction I was going in, man. Like the one thing I really love about you is you make really cool videos with all your babies, bro.
Yeah.
Right. So. Touch on this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who are against putting their kids in public's eye, right? And there's a lot of people, you know, who don't mind it, right? But obviously, the ones who don't mind probably controlling it, very careful. What is your thoughts and what is your direction, avenue, and ideas when you're involving your family to it?
Yeah. So that's a good question because now it's turned into such like now that social media is so widespread and almost everyone has it and has access to it, a lot of opinions are now in the world of social media and a lot more good and bad souls are accessible to social media.
Yes.
So back when I was making the videos with Mizo, and keep in mind, I had a partner in the beginning and then I didn't. I was a single dad. And those thoughts weren't really running through my mind. It was just, I never started the Banks family wasn't supposed to ever be just like I'm gonna make videos to go viral or whatever. Everything I'm doing, even from being a kid, was to have a digital footprint because I knew I'd get older and I knew that as my life went on, I knew I'd become a dad one day. I knew as life would grow and I would grow, I'd look back. And my thing about it is I don't have many photos of memories or videos of when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I see all these people and like even my wife has like photo albums of just like hundreds and thousands of photos of when she did gymnastics and her Christmas and that and this and that. And I don't have those.
Yeah.
I have like 4 pictures of when I was a kid. My first birthday with my dad. I had this one picture when I had a crown on. This one picture that's at the church still, most likely, of me wearing this Elmo outfit. I mean, Cookie Monster outfit with a whole bunch. I memorize the very few photos I have of when I was a child.
Wow.
So, like when I see photos of myself, where I be almost wanting to cry, like because I don't have those, right? I don't have those memories. So I make those memories for my children on a daily basis because I want my children to be able, when they're 15, bro, I want them to cringe and see themselves when they were 3 doing stuff like that. So that's why I did it. And
I
then,
want them to cringe.
man, right. So now there's this thing on social media now where it's like, oh, you're exploiting your kids, or not so much me, but like other people even like, they're like forcing their kids to do content. I never forced my kids to do nothing on terms of media.
Right.
Any videos that you see of Amira or Mizo when she was doing all those crazy things, that's just genuinely her. I didn't tell her to, if I told her to say something, it was like, say this, but she was not even saying it. So like, that was the fun of it all, right? And I didn't ever be like, hey, do this now. Or like, never. I just filmed my day as it was. Yeah. So the camera being
authentic.
Whatever I was doing right there was gonna happen either way, camera on or off. If I'm with my kids and we're having a fun time and being funny and that was gonna happen either way. Just because the camera was on doesn't mean I wasn't gonna be funny.
Right.
As my kids, we laugh all day. Yeah. I record for maybe 5 minutes a day.
It's beautiful, bro.
So that's where it's like, I don't create this facade. And if there is, that was the issue, then okay, I'd understand it. Right. Where it's like you're making your kids do this and they don't want to do it.
Because there's people out there, content creators, that you can tell it's truly an...
No, it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Kids are crying, you know? Yeah. Just be happy for fake. Like, I don't want you to fake me. If we're not feeling it, I'm not going to record it. Like, period. If we're not trying to be on camera, turn it off. Like, simple. So even when me and my wife, like, if we're about to record something and then it starts, the vibe is off, like, all right, let's try this later. Yeah. And it's as simple as that. Yeah. Like, so with the kids, nowadays... And that was a big thing because a lot of, again, this is the hurdle thing. I allowed social media to stop me from recording my children's, and even though I recorded it still, allowed me to, they had me stop posting about my children, which is what I've done for my entire life. I mean, creating content, but I stopped sharing it with the world and with my platform, which is for me and everyone to look back on. There's a gap missing from where Evea and Ayla, they're coming up, and now we're doing it more because we have our son and our family. We feel complete, but at the end of the day, there's like a couple of years missing because people were so strong on us, like even people going and saying that I was having kids for views.
Wow.
Like
wow.
That hurt my heart, bro.
Yeah,
because me having like, so first of all, my wife, when she was wanting the children, she wants the kids, right? She wanted to have kids. And I was like, I'm all for it. How many? Like, so I'm never gonna be like, hey, I want kids. You want some? Like, that's not me, right?
Yeah.
Like my wife, if she wanted the children, when she was ready for it, that's when we tried. Right. So it was never to be like, oh, and then we can make a gender reveal. Like, that just came.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those things are happening in my life.
Right.
And you're sharing it with the world.
I'm sharing it with the world. But with the world's perspective, or someone who has that mindset, they have to have that mindset, first of all.
Yeah.
For them to even think I'm thinking that way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yo,
exactly,
you're doing this because you're trying to get views. And I'm like, bet. Like, I won't show you guys nothing, and I'm still gonna be myself. Yeah. And then I sat back and I was like, wow, I don't have a digital footprint for like a year and a half of like good YouTube videos where we were doing fun stuff. Yeah. And I don't get to watch that back because granted, I lived in the moment and it's funner to do that. Yeah. But I like watching my stuff back. Yeah. I like, you know what, before any videos go live, you know what my kids say? Can we watch the video? My kids want to watch our videos. Yeah.
So more than I do. So I don't like editing. So obviously I'm not a social media person. I guess we kind of are now, right?
You are now.
We are now. But thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you.
But I have tons of videos of my kids. I like, and even we've been camping as families, and he like, on the way home, I'm already making the video and I send it to everybody. Yeah. Like, I just like making that stuff. We have so many cool videos. And it's the same thing. It's like my kids, sometimes we'll just have a Sunday and we're just watching old videos. And it's just so fun to see, like, because it's like you're going in memory lane, but it's like the difference between just remembering or you're in IMAX, like, oh yeah, remember that, I forgot about that detail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you get those feelings back too.
Yeah, you're living it.
The best part is when the most satisfaction I get from this is when people are watching the TV and I'm in the same room and we're watching our videos and I can see it in their eyes that they're entertained, happy. If I see a tear drop, dude, that means from the sound design to the way that I made you feel was intentional. When I like to edit, I mean, I don't like to spend all this time editing, but I love to edit. You guys in our group chat, I film something. I film a commercial the same day. I want to edit that moment immediately. Right. I want to see it. I want it to be alive already. Right.
I love that.
So I love when people are like, "Oh my God, I can't stop crying," or "Oh my God, that was so funny." That was intentional. Yeah. And when I have that, rather any money, that's the payback I like. Is like, dude, I'm making good stuff. And that's what I want to do, is make good content that not only people can watch back and see the growth, I can. Because when I'm 50 and the world is a whole different world, I'm going to be like, dude, remember when Instagram was a thing? And look at all these old videos. And like, I want my daughters to be like, when they get their own phones and they can go, and that's all I want. That's all I want.
Bro, that's absolutely beautiful. So you're raised through, you're in this Instagram, YouTube, social media life, right? You're a sex appeal, right? You're a handsome young dude. And I'm sure eventually at some point girls started attracting to you like bees and honey, right? So eventually you find a female, right? And you guys have a baby together, right? And obviously, what I know now, what the world knows, it didn't work out for you. At that point in your life, how did you transition that? Right? Like how was that like? Because I'm sure you got a lot of heat from people that probably came into your DMs saying that you're just not a good dude, or you're not going to be a good father, or it was your fault or her fault. How was that transition in your life, also growing and doing your business at the same time?
So what I learned is with any split, the guy is immediately the person that is the person or the reason why it didn't work out.
Right, always.
Right. And I didn't want to force any narrative because then it's forced.
Yeah.
So I just was like, and I went into a depression of some sort, right? Meaning like I was sad about it, but then I also was like more sad about me being on my own with my daughter. I was more sad about my daughter not having like this complete home. Like I was not so much worried about my relationship, if that makes sense, right? So then I was like, all right, well, what do I do? So I was living in Los Angeles by myself. I had just like was going through it. I was by myself. I didn't talk to any family. Like all my family's in the Bay Area, right? So that's like why I moved back. But
you're on an island.
I was on an island, bro. And was raising a little girl by myself. And then I was like, you know what? I need to do something because I didn't make it all the way here to end up here.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to move back home. So I moved with my aunt and my uncle, which was very humbling for me as well because I grew up in living in other people's homes. If that meant I lived with my grandfather, we lived with my grandmother, and my dad always tried to make it how he could. Yeah. So I told myself like, and this is the part where we want to be better than our parents, and my dad installed that into me. So I was like, I'm gonna have my own places. Wherever I go, it's gonna be my own place. So I have my own houses ever since leaving, and then I moved back in with family. Yeah. So I humbled myself tremendously. Yeah. I lived in a room in my aunt and uncle's house. And that was a blessing because I almost didn't want to do it because I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that. And then I found so much happiness moving with my aunt and my uncle because they have 2 younger children, my little cousins. And I became almost a big brother to them. And my aunt and uncle, even when I was a kid, like they've always, because they were on my mom's side, but my mom wasn't around as much. So they were always around too. So they had that kind of parental figure for me as well. Yeah. So, and they're a super funny household. So like we came together great, so right?
You needed that at the time.
I needed it. As much as I felt like I was going down a level, it brought me back into being funny again. Yeah, it brought being able life to laugh. Back into you. I brought life back in. I also need to learn things about parenting. Like my daughter, this is just being transparent. I was struggling with my daughter not having a good sleep schedule. She would go to bed at 3 a.m. Oh, wow. When I went to bed.
So hold on. How old was your daughter when you guys couldn't figure it out? So she was a baby still. Bro.
Yeah. And how old were you?
I was 19, 20.
Oh, so it's a baby raising another baby.
Yeah, you were young, dude. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the thing about me is, even since being a kid, like I've always wanted to be older. Because my friends were always older. Yeah. I hung around older people. I was an old soul. Yeah. Because I was raised in a church with people who were, they didn't.
Me too. That's why my best friend is older.
All right. Straight up, bro. Straight up.
You be kicking me when I'm down sometimes, dog. So, if not me, then who though?
Right. Period. So that's where I had a growing point where I was like, all right, I gotta take her advice also. Like I didn't have her eating the healthiest things. Like I lost a lot of weight. Yeah. So I was eating bad, but when I wouldn't eat, but when I did eat, it was like a hot and spicy ramen bowl. Yeah. That was it. And then she'd be sharing the bowl with me, and she's like 2 years old. Yeah. So that's just being real, dude. I just have to learn things, Yeah. And granted, I know how to cook. I cook great food. I'm good at cooking. I
saw that, bro. I saw some of your video. I'm like, fucking Ronnie gets down, bro.
I'm a chef.
All right.
My wife cooks more. She has a better palate than me. She knows how to cook more and more exotic foods and more like cultured foods. Yeah. But I can make a good meal. So
what's your to-go like meal? Like if you're gonna impress one person, that's my thing that I make.
I make crazy steak. Ask anybody in my family, I make steak.
Man.
All right.
And
we'll wait for the invite.
Yeah, no, you guys coming over. We're neighbors now too, by the way.
Yeah.
So when I housewarming party, you guys will for sure come over. So steak, and then I call it a collab with my wife. So when I make steaks or any meat on the grill, she makes our sides.
Nice.
And my thing about, if I was to impress anybody with a meal that I would make, I would need the help of my family. To be real with you, because my sister makes a kick-ass salsa.
Right on.
101 salsa.
Right on.
My wife makes any Asian food that you want made. She makes it authentically. It's delicious. And my dad, he taught me how to grill. So if I'm gonna really make a good steak, I need my dad there just for aura purposes.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Sam, turn that down a little bit. Put some water on the coal.
That's beautiful,
you know what I'm
bro.
saying? Like all those. If I'm gonna make the perfect meal, I need my family with me, and that's one. It's just one plate. So if I'm gonna make one plate, I need 5 people with me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give you one good plate.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
That's beautiful, brother. That's
Thank
beautiful,
you.
man.
So
let's get into that, bro, because a lot of people, man, and I can admit it, I'm one of them sometimes if I catch myself. A lot of people, we forget that you're a human just like me. You bleed just like me. You have feelings just like me. You go through the mud just like me. Sometimes people don't understand it because they don't see the other lifestyle that is not on the camera, right? So you were a young father. You were humbled. You moved back from LA to the Bay Area with your family, but they spoke and put that life spirit back into you. And you're learning to be a father, but you're also have many followers that are, you're building your platform, right? And eventually you meet another female, right? How did that work out for your ex, and then you having your new female, and then eventually trying to bond them together? Because that is you speak to most men, bro, that just doesn't happen too often, bro, right? Unfortunately, right? Because that becomes a real cat fight, and you're stuck in the middle, and you have your daughter here, she's connected with her, and then now you're getting ready to start a new family and trying to merge them in. It's not very easy, bro. How did you figure out that?
So it definitely wasn't easy.
No, but absolutely not.
And in the beginning, especially because all of this stuff was on social media, right? And it lives on social media, so people
For the
have
world
their
to
opinions,
see,
and people, you can't just go from making videos with your girl one day to never seeing her again. So we had to obviously let people know and address it. So then that creates its own. Everyone has their opinion on it, and so when that all first happened, it just took. Because granted, I'm going through real life things, and then like a real life breakup, but then there's the social media, and the social media world creating their, interpretations of what happened. Because nothing bad happened. It's just kind of like,
it just didn't work out.
It just didn't work out. And time went on. It just was like, all right, where we just didn't even talk to each other anymore. So that's how that happened. But then I think social media is what made it harder for us to organically intertwine. Because funny story is, while I was on that show when I was a kid, on set, I was on Vine, and I saw a video with my now wife on Vine. And I saw her, and I was like, oh, wow. And then she was
So hold on, she was an influencer too? Like you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So she just was like, she didn't make it her job or anything. Right. She was a gymnast and a cheerleader, and like was a rock star, one of those.
Yeah.
But so she like dedicated her life to that, being a gymnast and a cheerleader. But she still made
some funny videos.
Yeah, she made good viral videos. She had a good following.
Gotcha.
So I came across her online, and I just was like, oh man. So I made a video. I was like, everybody, tell Michaela Coachella one day I'm gonna marry her.
That's crazy.
Now I found out that everyone at her school was like, oh my God, did you see Ronnie Banks made a video about you and all that? And then she was like, yeah, whatever. So she was like the talk of the town for a little bit over there because I had made the video. And then, time goes on. we actually ended up talking for a little while, FaceTiming, and so we talked for like we knew each other before I had gotten to the other relationship, but she just was in Hawaii. So she's from Hawaii. So we were like we like each other, but like, what can we really do? We're still both children, you know? Even though we like each other a lot, but you know, so we kind of just went our separate ways or whatever. And then I had gotten to the other relationship or whatever, living in Los Angeles. And then one day I had posted, and you know, God works in mysterious ways because the littlest things where something so small and so random can change your life. Because I was living with my aunt and uncle, and there was a police car. You know when they try to empty or like create space on the freeway, so they
when they go back and forth,
slow down the traffic.
I was I was in the front car, and he was doing it right in front of me, and so I had made a video about it, and I was like, oh, you know, whatever. I didn't even remember what it was about. I just remember that it was doing that. And then she had DM'd me just saying something random like, oh, it's blase, blase. And I was like, Michaela? Like, the hell? So I click and I'm like, oh my God, that's Michaela. Not even remembering I made a video about marrying her one day. By the way, I'm just like, and she was like, do you remember me? I'm like, yeah, how are you? And then now I'm married.
Bam, bro.
So like we just started FaceTiming, and I even was going through such a thing that I a little bit shunned her, to be honest, just because I was on guard. Like, I'm not letting any women in my life that I'm going to dedicate my life to just to be alone again. And then also, I have my daughter, and I'm not going to just be having my daughter around these chicks because that's not who I am. Like, even my dad didn't do that to us, bro. Thank you. My dad had us with my mom, and then from my mom, it was my stepmom. After that, raps. Like, it was done. So I took that same value, and I didn't want to just be the guy also. Granted, like, in between then or before then, like, girls here and there. I was in Los Angeles or whatever, but nothing that I ever was like, oh yeah, I want you to meet my daughter, or even close to that, right? So I took value into that. So I just was like, wow, this girl is different. Because granted, if you know Hawaii and you know the girls from Hawaii, they're a little bit different. So they're a little bit more cultured and real, and they're not the LA girl, right? Not to say that LA girls are a certain way, but there's this stereotype.
But they're more tribe. More.
She was more family oriented. She had the same values as me. She wasn't a girl just out and had all these types of exes and all this type of stuff. And I really valued that, and I didn't want to treat her wrong. So I like took a step back because I was like, yo,
absolutely.
Am I the guy for her? Because even though she likes me, I like her, like I don't want to do nothing crazy where I'm like gonna make this girl be all hurt, right? So I took a step back. Like I was like, I just want to like not, and she let me take my step back, and that shook me. Because normally when you take a step back from someone, it's
just be like, peace.
All right, dude, whatever. I took a step back, and then when I gave time to think about it, I talked to my aunt and uncle about it, my family. I was getting back into orientation with my dad, and like, I dropped everyone when I moved to LA. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I don't want to blame. I'm not going to go blaming anybody, but I just have my mind elsewhere. So I didn't have time for anything else. So I only focus on my daughter and then my girl at the time, right? So I was getting back into myself, right? So I was like, let me get back into myself, and I don't want to string this girl along because she's not the kind of girl that I can do that to.
Right.
And then when I was like, all right, I was like, hey, I'm gonna call her. I was starting to think about her, and if I think about a girl more, and I'm not even talking to her, that says something. Because I have my past, and my wife knows my past, so there's no need to talk about it. But if I'm thinking about you, that says something. So.
She left a mark.
Yeah,
bro.
And I didn't keep in mind, we ain't never even met.
And is she still in Hawaii at this time?
She's in Hawaii. I've never even seen her in person yet. And I call her.
So she's been FaceTime and phone calls
every day, all day for the most part. Before I was like, hey, you know what? Let me just take a step back because I felt like I was about to get a long distance relationship, and that's what I didn't want. I don't want a long distance relationship. I didn't feel like I could do that. Especially me feeling like I was still alone with my daughter. How am I in a relationship when I'm still alone? You know? So I had called her and I was like, I don't know the time span of time, but ultimately I was like, come down here. Come down here. I want to see you. So she came down. And I don't even remember if she met her on the first trip. I don't think she did. But she came down and just, dude, it was, because we have so much time on the phone, it was real seamless.
But she knew about your daughter, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah. She knew about everything. She even knew about she knew about the social media. Everything. She knew everything. So I had her come down, and then it was like, she's super funny, dude. My family loved her. It was like easy, and I just was like, oh man, like I even got scared. I was like, dude, like, do I want to do this? Like, if I introduce, even like, I don't even want to introduce her. Like, I just want to live this personally, but my life isn't personal. Right. So like, people are gonna see me in public with another girl, whether I like it or not. Yeah. If I'm with another girl on the date, they're gonna see me with her. That's why, like, I'm very cautious about what I do because public is a thing, you know? Right. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I started introducing her to the platform. And then that was a good and a bad thing for the platform at that time because it caused so much controversy.
It could have went either way.
And the sad part about it is that was the most views I was ever getting is when people were debating my relationship.
Your life, bro.
Like the content I put hours and devoted time into, knowing, I mean, people watched, of course, but you know, it didn't get this crazy influx of blogs and this and that, and people want to have articles about it and all this stuff. And I just was like, man, like people really care about the things that are bad in your life, which is sad.
That's sad, bro.
And you know, for sometimes we played into it like, all right, well, they want to know how we met, let's tell them. They want to know this, let's tell them. Or, you know, they want to know how we would do a birthday party mixed, let's show them. Yeah. Because that's my life anyways. Whether the camera was on or not, I was going to have to mix the birthday.
Right. So the coolest thing about that, though, bro, is, I mean, she was, your wife now, she was already very comfortable with the camera, right? So she wasn't shy. So you and her in front of the camera is just like...
She never had the level of hatred, though. Or like the level of like opinionated.
How was that
people.
for her? That's what I was just gonna ask. How was that for? I mean, I'm sure for a female.
Babe, I'm about to say some stuff.
Hold on, let me take a drink before we get
say something so real quick, babe. Nah, she knows, but it's especially when it's catered to like her. In the beginning, it was really like. So there's this thing, we're gonna talk about it. It's funny, it's over with now. But one of our very first photos, she was wearing like these open-toed sandals. And there's like, dude, there was thousands of comments about her freaking feet, bro.
For
like,
reals?
Dude,
that's like, crazy.
Literally a toe. Like, the comments were
people
about
like zooming in and
bro, and she's like distraught. Must be deleted.
She was
like all this stuff. Like she wasn't used, like for the most part, her videos. Like if she got a couple of hated comments, whatever, but she wasn't used to like
just
that level. Like the masses really having an opinion about you, right? So they had all these like the feet comments, right, dude, and it just got to her, and that was like the start. And I had to tell her like, if you think this about your toe is anything, I don't know about this for you. You know, I had to get real with her. And I was like, you gotta either you can't read it or something. Yeah. Because you got a lot more in store. Yeah. We haven't even talked about the juicy shit yet. You know what I mean? So she's like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, it's getting to her. And, you know, I'm sure she went to her friends to seek some guidance that she wouldn't ask me for, you know? So that's where I just was like, you know, so I got her off. Like, if you're going to read the comments, detach yourself and don't only respond to the bad comments, because then why are all the other thousands of people that are saying good things, why are they commenting? If you're only going to respond to the people who say bad things, guess what? People are only going to say bad things because really, at the end of the day, they just want your reaction. Yeah. So if you're going to only react to the bad stuff, they're only going to send bad stuff. So if you're going to respond to anything, wait to read a good comment. And then they're going to see you only respond to good comments, and they're going to be like, all right, no need. I'm not going to get a reaction from this guy anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how she had to learn that. She's still learning it. I'm still learning it, but I don't respond to nobody. Yeah. And if I do respond to somebody, it's like I know you personally, or like your message, like I appreciate it, and it's not just a hard eye or something, you know.
Yeah.
Man, you guys do so great together, bro. On the count, seriously, man. I try to get my mama bear, my wife. I call her Mama Bear. I try to get her in, but she's so shy, bro. She's the complete opposite of my crazy ass, and I love it. But I always I showed her your guys' video. I'm like, look, they're just being themselves. You know, I've never met her before. I've seen her, but just the chemistry I see. I mean, it's just so authentic, bro. Yeah. It's just what I'm assuming is that's just who you guys are, and I love that about it, bro. I love that even with your kids, man. Like it's just no training. There's no 1, 2, 3 go. It just looks like it's bam. And you guys are just being you guys, the Banks family, man. Yeah. And I really want to take my hat off to you, and I'm sure that you know it just comes naturally, man. I love that about you guys.
Yeah, all of our videos are just like, I mean, unless it's like we're like making like an actual trend video or like a certain type of TikTok or certain type of video. Other than that, like if it's any vlogging type stuff or like any just normal, like if you go to look at any clips where I'm just like at breakfast with them and I'm asking them funny questions, like that's just what I do when the camera's off. Like I ask them, I keep conversation with my kids because I have so many. Yeah. I always am fighting with this internal battle if I'm giving enough to each one. Yeah. and if I'm giving the right kind of attention to each one, because they're all different age groups now. Yeah. So I'm like, I always fight with this. So I make sure if we're sitting at the table, it can be the same question, but I always get different answers. Yeah. And that's the fun part about it. Like, I'll ask what the favorite color is, and I can swear to you, I get different answers every time. Yeah. And I'll ask like, what's your favorite da-da-da, or what do you want to do, or like this or that, and our conversations are always different. So like, I made a video where I was like, what's Dad's favorite color? They all know everything about me because I always share it. They know my favorite color, my favorite number. Da-da-da. I'm like, what's my favorite drink? And my youngest daughter is like, michelada. And everyone, bro, I'm like that's real. It's like, we didn't script that. And you know what the best thing part about it? The unscripted, the unplanned videos do the best because it's the most real. Yeah, bro. Real. And I you can even see like I'm caught off guard. Like my youngest daughter, like they all have different personalities. Ayla is known for flipping people off. I don't freaking know why, dude. I don't know why she loves it so much. Yeah. She just does it. Yeah. And there's a video where we were in Hawaii, and she's in the background of my video flipping the camera. I saw it. And I didn't even know, and I posted it. Oh, shit. Yeah, I would have posted it either way just because, you know, whatever. Yeah. But
it's hilarious. Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And then I asked her, I'm like, so I made another video where like, why are you, everyone caught her like, why are you getting flipped off? Why is she flipping us off?
The video of you asking her was great.
And then I asked a video, I'm like, why are you flipping them off? She's like, I was doing the shotgun. I'm like, no, shut up. Yeah. So that's just our life, dude. That's just our life. So when the camera's on, it would have happened if the camera was on or off.
All right. So at this point, man, you got with your girl. You guys are developing a relationship. How was it? I just need to know, how was it when you went to go meet her family for the first time? Because they're different, bro. Yeah. They're a different tribe. You know, I had a good friend I played football with, and he was Polynesian, and his family was just, they're like, they say Mexicans and the Polynesian are very similar, but man, they were a little bit more intimidating if you ask me, bro. Because some of them were just ruthless, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I mean, I don't want to, the platform aside. Yeah. Okay. Because they felt like they knew me already because I have such a backlog. Right? Yeah. So they all did their research on me. Yeah. They already had their opinions on me before I stepped foot.
Yeah, but that's still their baby though, bro.
They loved me before they met me. Oh. Her dad loved me so much, bro. He literally like wanted me to be his son the day I met him, bro. Like
oh wow, bro.
He had such a light in his eye, and he loved that I made videos, and he thought it was so unique, so cool. So he was so proud that I was able to take care of not only his daughter but myself and my daughter and everyone around me by doing what I loved. Yeah. And he like, so meeting her family, her aunts, her uncles, her friends, they embraced me more than other than my own family. Like they embrace me, and like keep in mind, like we grew up with our family, so we don't get so much embracing, right? Like they're our family already. So meeting a new family and getting such warm embrace as an adult really brought like such warmth to my heart. It sold me more being with her, because when you're dating, you're just dating.
Yeah.
When you're married, you're marrying a tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You then marry the family.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I was having those contemplations of like, is this girl gonna go past me dating her? Mm-hmm. And meeting her family, I was like, fuck, dude, like, yeah, I'd have a great foundation with, you know, my side and her side. It wouldn't be a one-sided thing. I'm not only family-oriented, or not only is she family-oriented, we both are. Yeah. And yeah, dude, like I had such an experience. So I got addicted to going back to Hawaii to go make sure we saw her family. I made sure she saw her family more than she cared about, not cared, but more than she was yearning for. Like whenever I felt or thought she was homesick, I was like, we're going over there, because we were there all the time. And then especially when her father passed, we were there like 6 times a year. Like we were there every other month. We almost lived there. So wow, it is our second home. To all the family out there in Hawaii and everybody in the foundation, friends and family, I love you guys. They've always accepted me with open arms.
So the other question, obviously they accepted you, and how was introducing your baby to that family as well?
Oh man, a lot of them, because as much as they loved me, they loved her because I had that content online of me and Miso together. So they thought, you know, they always talk about like these viral videos that I've had, where, you know, her friends always talk about it and her family love it. So they knew, like, as much as they loved me, it was the same as they brought in. And the way that they brought in Amira was very authentic, and they're very, so out there, everyone is auntie and uncle. No matter what. Even if they're not your auntie and uncle. And even if you guys are just like a little bit close friends, they're your cousin. So like I had to learn that, because like I wasn't cool with like the whole calling random grown men uncle thing. Like, that wasn't me. Like I'm not having my kids just calling some random dude uncle. I don't really care who.
Right.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
So I had to get acquainted to that, because he was just like, it's just a family. Like it's a respect thing. More so than them being their uncle. And I was like, all right. I had to chill out a little bit, because I just was like, uncle? No damn uncle. What are you talking about? You know, I had to get real for a second. So she was just like, all right. She had to understand where I came from, and then I had to understand her upbringing and stuff like that. So everyone was just like, hi, niece. Straight up, man. First day, you know, so hi, nephew, all just like that.
Beautiful, bro. So will there ever be a point, or do you ever think there will ever be a point that you'll ever stop putting your kids on the camera?
I've been battling that, actually. Like right now I'm battling that, because they want to be on the videos more than I want them to be honest. Like they want to because they watch kids YouTube all the time. They see those kids, and some of those kids may or not being forced to be on it, you know? I don't know. But there are some for sure, and then there's some who are probably just like mine. Like when we're just recording our daily life, and that's just what it is. And then there's people who are cultivating that life purposely for YouTube, right? Which may or may not be a good thing. So for the most part, they're like, can we do this challenge? Can we do that challenge? Can we do this challenge? Can we do that? Can we do an overnight thing? Can we go here and can we record it? And I'm like, okay, yeah. But then I'm like, how much do I want them to be on it? Because, you know, how can it be portrayed? And then that's when I'm also like, well, do I really care? Because at the end of the day, they just really want to go here to go have fun.
And you choose being a dad, right? I mean,
and they just honestly, like, they're like, can we go to this place and do a challenge and eat this? And they really just want to go do it to do it. Right? And they want to record it because they want to watch it later. And that's their true intent. And to be honest, that's my true intent, is just to record it to watch it later. So why am I worried about anybody else? Why am I worried about whatever this creeper, this person is thinking when they watch it? How you can't stop anybody from watching or thinking anything when they watch anything.
Right.
Whether we like it or not.
And so how old is your oldest? 12?
9. She's 9.
Okay, so at some point, she's they're all gonna want to maybe record their own stuff and have their own social media. Do you ever think of that, and what are your thoughts on it? Like, what point do you say, yeah, here's the phone and you can have your own?
Honestly, my idea was for when they were ready for them to take over the Banks Family channel, if that's what they wanted. I was going to propose to them an option, just like my dad did.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to continue to do this? Is this dad did this so he can take care of us?
Right.
But we're taken care of.
Yeah.
So the videos at this point, especially like YouTube videos, like I'm more on the business side too, with even creating certain brand deals and commercials. Like that's where I'm at with it now. I want to make movies. I want to make short films.
Yeah.
Making YouTube is fun, but I do that so I can just keep making the memories.
Right.
So if they want to continue to make the memories, do that. Dad would love to be a guest star on Banks Family.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
awesome.
I can edit it, or but if they want to do it, and that's kind of where it's going right now. But we haven't done that just because of my discrepancies and my inner feelings and thoughts and all the grown man thoughts I have on really understanding the world and them not,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to shelter them from that too.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's a battle right now.
Because social media is like a sort of, many ages. And, I know I'm battling with that with my kids. I have a 14-year-old that wants all the social media, and I'm like,
so we don't let
I see
them
the
watch.
benefit.
They don't have TikTok. They don't have regular YouTube. They don't watch much of anything besides kids YouTube.
Right.
And that's because when they did, watching the wrong things and then them implementing and doing the wrong things.
I know, and the same thing with us is like we guard that and shelter them as much as we can. And so for my 10-year-old, makes sense, I can do that. But my 14-year-old, he's about to go to high school. At some point, I got to start giving him more freedoms. And it's like, what's the level? And to me, it's like, if he was to come to me and be like, I like making videos just like you did with your dad and stuff, and I see that passion and he's going to do something with it, it will be easier for me to support. But it's like, I just want to be there so I can watch reels. And I was like, well, I don't want you glued to your phone just doing this for hours. Yeah. Or so it's, I let him open an Instagram account right before he graduated from middle school. And I says, listen, everybody's doing it. I'm going to let you have it for a week just so you can say you have it. Because it was like, I'm the only one that doesn't have it. I was like, I'm going to have it for a week. And then I'm taking it away. And we're going to figure out how you earn it. And so right now he's not happy with me because I'm like, I actually let him have it for 2 weeks. It's like, I give you an extra week, but we made a deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I got to figure out how, So and my thing with me is like, he's such a good kid. He has good grades. He's like, he has all these good things going on. But I'm like, I also see that like, I struggle with it. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I've been watching this for way too long. And why am I watching this dumbass stuff? Like, there's good stuff on it. Like, But then there's also stuff that you can easily get.
Brain rot content.
And so, and for you, I would imagine it's even hard because you're, such a social media is your whole life. So they see it.
There's a line sometimes that has to be drawn too, because my experience with it is right now, they do want to watch their iPads and watch the videos and stuff like that. But in terms of them being on social media and watching social media is almost two different things in itself too, because being on social media and recording the videos, I could technically have it to where they only saw Banks Family videos and only got to just film and didn't really watch outside content. And that's totally separate because that's just recording and that's being on, and then that's the world having and viewing the children, right? And then what they're viewing on social media is two different worlds. Because now you're leaving it to interpretation and opinion of others and then what they're interpreting from what they're watching. Because when we're making our videos, they're just living real life. Some of the time, they don't even know the camera's on. Because sometimes I just put the camera far away from us because I don't want them staring at the camera the whole time. So it's really authentic most of the time. So for that part, it doesn't affect them being on social media because we're just living our daily life anyway. And if we're doing challenges and stuff that's intentional, that's just more fun in our day for them. And then when it's posted and then brought to the world, that's when it's this whole different interpretation, and there's these opinionated people, and then all that. Right. So I have more censorship of this than I do that, because you can't really stop people from watching and this, and I'm not the type of guy who's gonna censor my children's faces on the stuff and like not post my children. I'm proud of my children. My children are beautiful.
Absolutely.
And my intent behind this, not everybody is that way on social media. There's people who genuinely are like me, or even better than me, that are just like to see stuff and appreciate that. Like that's who I cater to. I'm not catering to nobody else. Anybody else out there that chooses to be any kind of other way, man, I hope you find your way when you go up there, right? Yeah. That's on you, dude. My life, I have a beautiful family.
You do, bro.
And
you do.
and I'm gonna show it. Yeah. And that's me.
Yeah.
But when they're watching their iPad and they're watching something that's a little bit not age discretionary or whatever.
And sometimes even if you put the filters on, like videos slip through. Like when the kids were super young, I used to let them watch YouTube for kids, YouTube Kids. And sometimes I would be watching, it's like, what? How does this make it through?
How is that on YouTube Kids, bro?
Because it'll be like a regular cartoon that somebody's narrating and putting like a inappropriate
video.
Oh my God!
You gotta watch that.
Even the interpretate, like their little voiceover things, is all AI. So all they're trying to do is keep longer watch minutes. So they'll say random stuff. And there was like stuff about, like, I don't mean get like specific, but there was like a video literally about incest on YouTube Kids, and I was
crazy.
Like,
what?
Yeah,
bro,
dude, there's some crazy
not
stuff.
specifically, but they were like, it was like the brother went outside and he saw a package, and he opened the package and it was from his girlfriend, but really it was from his sister, and I was just like, what the dude? It was like, and I'm in the front seat hearing it, and I was like, "Babe, what are you watching?"
Yeah, bro, that's crazy, man.
So that's where it's just like I'd rather have a life where my children, instead of being so bored that they revert to the iPad, I'm trying to find activities and programs and things for them to do on a daily basis that we choose to do rather than that, because there's something better to do than sit down on my iPad right now. I can do this.
But you got to provide that and give that opportunity for them, because otherwise they're going to choose that. Their mind's got to be occupied.
Yeah.
But if you have to pick, like, okay, so what is the age you say I'm going to allow my oldest to have social media if they want to?
Well, right now, technically, they all have their own pages.
Right, but they're not active on it. So something they can like.
So when she is,
and I'm hoping you say a really high age so I can show that to myself.
When you know, you'll truly know.
Right.
Meaning, when I feel like my daughter isn't going to be easily influenced by others, and this is when you have to have such a home dynamic where you want your child to be able to see things and still not be swayed another way. Meaning, when I was a kid, and because of the upbringing I had, that when I was then allowed to be into the world, I didn't have much care for it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to a party and get high and drunk, or go do this with some chicks. Like, granted, as time went on and I grew up or matured, certain things happened, right? And I still took those proper steps. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do as a dad, bro, your son or your daughter or whoever, if you're doing your job, I feel, and you have that good connection with them where you can have good open communication with them. And here's the thing, strict parents create sneaky kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When you tell your kid no every day, they're not going to ask you anymore.
They're just going to do it.
When your kid comes to you and wants to tell you something and you're like, oh, don't tell me that, I don't like that. Or, oh, what the heck? And you do that, they're not going to tell you things anymore. So even when I have my personal feeling of when my kid tells me something that I'm like, I keep it to myself because I want them to still tell me it.
Yeah.
And I need to still know. And I want my daughter to still come to me and be like, Dad, someone said this about me today. And I don't want her to hold it in. So my daughter, she has a phone. Doesn't have social media on it because I want her to call me because she's not always in my eye line of sight. So She has a cell phone, but with no access to social media. But the day that and I already know, she's the type of kid who's not even going to ask me for social media until she's going to come to me with a good thought out.
A good sell.
Hey, Dad, I'd like to have social media because I want to post my own photos and yada, yada. But then there's going to be okay, well, what kind of photos? What are you trying to make skits? What are you trying to make videos? I think we should just stay on the Banks family for right now. Have those kind of conversations because
absolutely.
That's where it will be different. It won't be just us making Banks family and making integrated videos and stuff like that. And I'm your dad and I'm still making sure everything is copacetic. Now it's Mizo's wanting to make intentional videos and share her own audience.
Yeah.
Then that's where I would feel like it'd be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, that may be selfish of me to say, but I think when she comes to an age, and she's not going to be 10 or 11 or maybe even 12, but because I have daughters, to be honest with you, but and it's a little bit different. For sure.
It is different,
and it's sad to say because nowadays you get ripped apart for saying something like that. But I'm just going to speak to how I was raised.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little bit differences in how girls and the boys are operated, and it's just human nature. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I just want my daughters to be able to have so much game that no little boy can game them up, because guess what? Daddy done gamed them up already.
Absolutely.
My daughter's not going to go out there yearning for some little boy's attention, because guess what? Daddy done gave it.
Yep.
Can't no little boy say this or that or this or that, because Daddy's own game. Daddy taught her already about this and that, and she gonna know a quote unquote fuck boy from a distance, because guess what, baby?
100%.
Daddy done taught you already.
That's right.
So all my daughters are gonna have that implementation before Instagram or TikTok or anything is brought up upon nothing. You're not gonna have a contact besides me until then.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm still developing within my daughters. And keep in mind, I got a 5 and a 4-year-old still.
Yeah.
And she's only 9, so I haven't really gamed them up that much, but they have an understanding, and they've also grown up since they were born.
Yeah.
They think it's normal for people to come up and take pictures with you. I'm like, baby, that's not normal.
Yeah.
That isn't, we don't live a normal life to that aspect. We live a normal life.
That was my next question. Yeah.
They were born into a life where whether we like it or not, people are going to stop us. And whether we like it or not, people have an opinion on us. Whether we like it or not, if we don't take a picture, people are going to get offended or insulted, whether we like it or not. And whether I like it or not, some people don't understand boundaries. We have people sometimes go up to my children and ask them for photos. And are you out of your mind?
Oh, without your permission.
Bro, we were in a mall.
What?
And this is when I was first starting to date my now wife, but she was my girlfriend at the time. We were in a mall, big mall. In San Jose, Valley Fair, actually. We go there all the time. And it was popping that day. And some people started coming up, so it created a crowd, because now people are the mall's packed, so they see people taking pictures with people. It's like, oh, there's celebrities here, or whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna go take a picture too. And then people, oh, that's Ronnie, so it's created this crowd. So then this older lady, and she was an older Asian lady, and just had no sense of boundary for what we were doing, not waiting in line or anything, just came up and was like trying to get a picture with Amira only, and was like putting her around and like kind of bringing her away from us. And my wife don't play that at all, and I don't either, but I also know how to act in public, so it's like, I'm not gonna just go off, because then people recording me or recording me going off on this older lady. There's no context behind why I'm going off on this lady. So I'm like, I gotta be cool. My wife she from Hawaii, and
she don't play she don't play by those rules.
What do you? So I had to decompress that situation a little bit. But there's situations like that all the time where we're eating and they want us to stand up
and take pictures.
Wipe my mouth and take a picture with you. And for the most part, our following is a little bit more family oriented, because that's the demographic we have. So they understand that. But sometimes when we're just like in the public, and it's just like, people just, oh, you're that one guy. They don't really have a sense of family or what we're doing and that. So,
man, bro, that's gotta be tough sometimes, though, huh? I'm sure that took a little while to get used to the fame, the popularity. I mean, I can't imagine. It hasn't happened to me, but I can't imagine sitting down with my family. I'm eating, and somebody comes up and, hey, can you get up, take a picture real quick?
You know what the creepiest thing is? Not creepiest, because a lot of you have done it. But the thing about it is like when I feel like I'm having a private moment but I'm in public. This is why I know if anything outside of my house is no longer private. I have to watch every move I do. My children as well. Even when it comes to disciplining my children in public, telling them, don't do that, don't grab that. I can't raise my voice ever.
Yeah, because it's going to be taken out of context.
Because someone from 100 yards away will zoom that damn camera in.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I don't find out until I'm back home and I'm checking my Instagram and someone's like, hi, at Ronnie Banks. And they zoomed in times 25 and they're 5 stores away and they showed me walking in with my children. And that is what's the stuff that gets me like,
they'll send you messages like that. That's crazy.
Well, I'll get tagged.
Yeah.
And so I'll see that I'm tagged in this video and I'll watch the video and it's a picture of me or a video of me and I'm 200 yards away, 100 yards away.
You know, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy you said that.
I never have met it. They never met me nothing.
Damn.
Or I was too scared to come up to you, so I recorded this video of you 100 yards away.
That's weird, bro.
Yeah.
But it's part of
that comes with territory.
It's hard for me to like claim it as weird or anything just because like some people just feel like that's their genuine. They're being genuine. They genuinely they weren't being a creep in their mind.
Yeah.
They were genuinely too scared and they wanted proof that they saw me.
Danny kind of did that, right?
What?
Oh, you did that to me. You did.
But I didn't tag you.
You're a creep, bro. No, I'm kidding.
I said to my son, like, that's Ronnie. He's like, yeah, that's Ronnie Banks.
But you're genuinely just being genuine. You weren't trying to be creepy about it. You know, you're just showing your son.
That's crazy.
And that's
that is crazy, bro. So, man, given all, man, bro, you unpacked a lot, dude. And you unpacked a lot. I have a question for you, though. Now that you're a father, right, and you have your career and you're remarried, right? You got more babies.
I've been married once.
Well, I'm sorry.
I was engaged.
So you're married. You have your family. Is there any advice like that your dad gave you that you really disagreed with and that you're not passing down to your kids, right? You know what I mean? Because me, for example, like my mom. There was just so many things that, like with me, that shit stops right here. I can't give all this information to my kids, or I had to be able to stop that circle where it just ends right here. Right? I have to change if I want to change this bloodline, this history, I have to be a completely different person to my
generational
kids.
curses.
You dig what I'm saying? So you were blessed with a good father, a great father, an involved father. I'm not perfect because we're not. None of what we do is ever perfect, right? But he was obviously in your life. He was engaged with you. But at the same time, they could also give us some information where you just don't agree with, right? And I don't necessarily think I want to do that with my kids.
Right.
But maybe they didn't have the tools at that time. And
exactly. So the way my dad was brought up, my family, ironically, is a line of like athletic blood, right? Yeah. Football was our family. Ironically, with my build, if I would have ended up doing football from when I was a kid, I probably would have been a great football player.
Tight end, bro.
Right.
For sure.
George Kittle would have been nothing. So my dad grew up with a very tough love concept from my grandfather, which is Ronald Hackett Sr. So my grandfather wanted my dad to just be a specimen, right? Which he ended up being from this tough love. Like, very strict, you know, you're a football player, your life revolves around football, no plan B, that's that. And it was almost a way of being taught by saying you can't do it, and then him having this eye of the tiger to prove him wrong. And my dad, granted, not so much because we grew up in the church and he changed his life before before I was born, to where he didn't implement those same things, but he still had that implemented in him. So it was hard to rid of that way.
Yeah.
And so when it came time for me to wanting to be an athlete or wanting to be this.
Flip that around.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the time of wanting to be learning anything, he thought the way to teach me was by saying I couldn't do it. And he thought that it was going to make me have this eye of the tiger and I'm going to prove you wrong. And like it did, but to what extent? It's almost like you have to put your son down for him to climb up a mountain, which I understood. now. But then it's also like, you know, and now we've talked about it a lot. Like even my sister, and we're very open. We see each other all the time. Just saw each other yesterday, all of us together. My sister.
How much older? Is she older?
She's 2 years older.
Okay.
So she.
And you just have one sibling?
I have 5 sisters.
Oh wow!
But
What?
yeah, I have 5 sisters. So my oldest sister, Michelle, she lived and stayed with my mom. So when they split, she lived and stayed with her. We reconnected in our teenage years and stuff. And then Kiana stayed with me my entire life. She's with me from birth to now. And then Ariana was with my stepmom, and then they split, so she stayed with my stepmom. And then my dad had got into another relationship and had Jayliana. And then my mom had another daughter when my original mom, my biological mom, had another daughter in her other relationship, so Deja. So that's my 5 sisters. So
were you the youngest?
I'm in the middle now. Because
Okay.
Jaylee and Ariana are younger than me, and Deja are younger than me, and then Kiana and Michelle.
And no brothers?
Older, no brothers.
That's crazy.
Me, I had to just be the man of the situation. No matter if I'm younger or older, I run the shit. So my
I'm
sisters,
sure you do.
They know what's up. They know what's up. Yeah, I take care of them.
Right on, bro. Good stuff, dude.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Have you guys ever like been all together, like a celebration, all
all
the
time.
siblings,
all the time.
Oh,
all the
okay.
time. Yeah. So now, like literally, everything's copacetic now. Like everyone's grown. I mean, Jaylee younger, but everyone's grown and everyone lifed at this point, right? And things happened and all that kind of stuff. But now at this point, I'm at a stage where I want my children to have their family around.
Yeah.
And I had that gap for a little while in my life, and I don't want any gaps in my children's lives. I don't want a gap of where my children don't know who their grandparents are, or don't know who their aunts are. I'm like, hey, this is your aunt Jaylee, and they're like, who? You know. So I don't want none of that. So
So your children really have, for lack of a better word, not a normal life as far as like you have this whole social media and stuff, but also it sounds like your family dynamic in general, with your ex, and it's just unique across the board, right? You have, 5 sisters, but there's different, connections. And so it's very unique. It's funny because my kids have technically, they know, so like 6 grandparents, right? So like, because my wife, and I'll just say it quickly, but like my wife had a stepdad that she still calls a dad.
Right.
Then she has her biological dad, right? And then I have my father, and then
his wife.
Right. And then my mom's current husband, even though I don't call him dad,
that's the grandparent.
my kids see him as a grandparent too. And so there's all these levels of, and they're like, sometimes like, wait, and they've asked me before, my friends don't have this many grandparents. And, so we have to explain.
Understand the dynamic.
Now, like my 14-year-old, we have to explain it because he had questions. It's like, how does this work? It's like, okay, well, this is who your grandfather actually is, and this is your other grandfather, and then everybody else, you can still call them that, but married into the family. So your kids similar, right? You have this very dynamic.
They still ask. I mean, for the most part, Amira, she knows the aspect of it because it's her mom, so she understands the co-parenting aspect. In the beginning, she didn't at all, especially when it was like in the parts where Michaela was developing her relationship with her. She didn't know what she was to her. She called her Auntie Mackie. So that's where it all is kind of like that. But now my younger daughters are like, so Miso has 2 moms and we have 1 dad, right? Is there another dad? I'm like trying to,
no, hell no.
I'm trying to teach them that you know what, and this is where
that's hilarious.
We've had some real growth. Not only myself, not only Michaela, Jasmine as well.
Beautiful.
She, it takes a lot to be open to the change that the other side is bringing on to your child, right? And this is why it was so important, and this is why I also cherish the relationship I had with Jerry, which is Michaela's dad, is because he's the man who told me that. He was like, dude, you got to get a grip on both of these girls. And granted, one of the girls is his daughter. Yeah. And he still didn't give a shit. He's like, get a grip on these chicks, dude, because them fighting is not going to give you a peaceful life, and you're not going to have a good life. And I actually learned because his current wife and his ex-wife they intermingle. They go to each other's homes, share food. They have conversations. They ask for help. It's easy. It's seamless. That's the best word I can put it. And I wanted that. And he saw the hardship Mackie was going through with the public opinion, and also the situations of all these public opinions can interfere with how we think as people. And then, her and Jasmine weren't able to really have a organic way of conducting with each other and co-parenting. So it took a lot of growth from all parties involved. So I do give that to her and to my wife. It was easier for me, right? Because I'm just trying to conduct, right? So hey, don't fight, right? Type thing. Yeah. But it takes more. But
there's kids involved, bro.
Yeah, it took a community. It took a while. We're no stranger to it. It's all online, and that's about being transparent, right? So she had to, when it came time for it, it had to grow with her. Now, with all the things that Mackie has implemented into Amira, that not only could I have done, not some things Jasmine and I have been able to do, now we almost have, it's almost like you have an additional weapon, right? Like we added ammunition. We didn't take away from anything. Right. Yeah. We're helping our daughter grow.
Absolutely.
And when she really fully saw the intention behind Mackie, and she knew that it wasn't me or Mackie just trying to be on the videos or just trying to make it, and she's still here to this day, even with the hardships, because Amira's not an easy child to raise, right? So nobody is. So when she saw that, she understood.
Beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. Yeah. I got a question, man. What is, if there is any, what is the biggest lie the internet believes about you? Is there one out there, right? Like there's just something false.
Now this is where you want to get controversial. No, so I mean,
I know we run out of time, man. Yeah, so I want to leave a little cliffhanger for the folks.
I can be quick. So, like I said it earlier, but I can kind of go into it a little bit more, is where my intent behind what I'm doing in the videos. I can't tell you, and it's only the videos that we're doing a milestone thing in our life where they think that I only make videos for milestone things in my life. Yeah. They don't care about the 30 videos I made in that year. They only care about the one video where we announced that we're having another baby or something. Right. And they're like, you're only having babies for the content. And it's like, I didn't have not one kid even in the past 5 videos, but okay. So, and they're acting like I wasn't Ronnie Banks before my children, first of all. Right. Yeah. That part. So, it's kind of the people who are new to it and also watch these other people, and they think I'm along the same line. Right. And I have the same intentions, and it's just like, it's just whatever. Like, so people who think that, like, because I have so many kids, it's kind of hard to fight that fight anyways too. It's like, well, why do you have so many kids then? It's like, because I love my children and I wanted kids, and I told myself that I wasn't going to stop till I had a son, period. Yeah.
And so do you guys want more? Or
no.
Just say,
no mas.
I'm actually probably, my wife wants me to get a vasectomy. No. Okay. No, we don't.
She wants you to get a vasectomy?
Yeah, I don't want to just because, damn, bro, I got to burn my shit. I got to singe the balls off, man.
I'm actually on the opposite. My wife refused. I actually made the appointment and she's like, nope, you're not getting one.
Oh, really? You want to have more kids?
Well, no.
Or the possibility is again.
She doesn't want to have any more kids because the last one almost killed her. So we wanted more than 2 kids.
Oh man, I have a story, dude.
But we didn't want to go through that, and so for the same reasons, like, well, we obviously don't want to go through that. Mm-hmm. So it's easier for me just to fucking fix. Yeah. And she's like, no. She keeps saying, she's like, what if I die? Then you can start a new family, whatever. I was like, dude, that's kind of morbid. Like.
I told my wife, bro, if one either of us goes, it's a wrap. Ski, you're done. In this life and the next, baby.
Hell yeah.
I'm coming back. I'm haunting your ass, girl.
I'm watching you. Yeah. So if you ever wondering, if like, oh, is he? I'm looking down. I'm looking down because she's like, oh, I want you to be happy. I'm like, I'm gonna be very happy with my kids, and my money, and I will be happy. That's about it.
That's what I say.
Yeah. So I mean, if whatever, like, I just don't want no remarrying thing. Like, that's why. If you were to go on a date or whatever, try to, whatever, I'm not gonna like that. But I just.
Yeah.
I hear you.
It's a wrap.
That's a trip how we have those conversations, bro. You know what I mean?
We have weird conversations. I'm like a little bit too tapped into like weird thoughts, I guess, because I just have weird, like, straight up conversations. Like, hey, if I die, it's a wrap, right? Because and also what I will say is
we're gonna weld a chastity belt on your ass, girl.
Real for real. But to be straight up, I don't worry about those things because I see what she comes from in her family.
Yeah,
because her mom is, I mean, granted, she went through something so
painful,
terrible, right? That man still runs through her mind all day, every day. She can't stop talking about Jerry ever. That man is her life in this life and in the next. Wow. Even when he's not here, he's here for her, right? Yeah. And
that's true.
I know that's
true
the kind
love,
of
bro.
Dude, that's the kind of woman Michaela is, because that's the kind of woman her mom is.
Exactly.
So I know, honestly, to be honest with you, like, I'm Mackey's one, dude. Like, I just know it. Know it.
But I mean, how we treat them, how they bring out the king in us, how they make us want to be better, right? Like, you have daughters, I have daughters, and the one thing that I kind of learned through other great men is the one thing I've heard it multiple times, but recently I had I met one of the guys I work out with, and he said it so beautiful. He says, I had 3 daughters, and the one thing that I learned immediately was I'm going to treat my wife so good and with so much caressness and love and respect and kindness, and try to give her everything I possibly can so my daughters can see how they're supposed to be treated.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I've heard it before, but the way he said it was just so powerful, man, because I haven't been the greatest husband. I've had my flaws, but I've always tried to really show my daughters, this is the way you're supposed to be treated, with respect, kind, love, and being honored, right? But you also want to, treat your future husband the same way, the same respect, the same love, right? And I think that's so powerful for a lot of men out there. If you have daughters, is the way you treat your wife is what your daughter is going to be expected to be treated like, right? And for me and my wife, man, like, I really tell her, like, man, we are connected. You know what I mean? In so many different ways. And how you just said that about your mother-in-law is so beautiful, bro. Like, they had a connection 99% of couples in the world don't have, bro. Right? They didn't find their significant other. Some people just settle down with someone just because it made sense, right? And you see it all the time. Yeah. But that's a beautiful thing.
Even the loyalty aspect, because I look at context clues within life, every day with anything, and I saw the loyalty in her blood, because her dad I went to prison for a little while, and Marilyn, instead of taking that as an opportunity to go do something else, she turned to God and started reading her Bible and took another route. And he was gone for a few years in prison. And in learning that, I know that's exactly, I'm not going to go to prison, but I know that's exactly the same person that my wife is, because they're going to take that route rather than the route of, it's an opportunity where if I were to have to go somewhere or do something, I don't worry about my wife. You know what I mean?
That's so beautiful, dude. It's so beautiful to hear, because to Danny's point, there's a lot of beautiful relationships up there, but not everybody has that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you meet people, you know that somebody has that. It's just so beautiful. I know Danny and Michelle, you know, for almost 20 years, and I can truly say that.
You guys have known each other that long?
Well, I mean,
like about 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, that's another story, man.
Yeah.
But
that's almost my whole life, bro.
This is my,
yeah.
Him and my other brother Ivan, man. These literally my brothers, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally brothers. Like,
okay, dope.
You know, hey, we got to go bury somebody today.
Yeah. So we
Let's go.
I seen his wife truly be like, I seen them through the good to the bad to the worst, and she's like, you know,
a rock.
And so when you see that, and you know, me and Aaron been together, we've been living together for over 20 years. We've been married for like 14. Don't kill me, I can't remember how many.
Right.
Yeah.
Get it right, bro.
So, but same thing. It's like I know that I never have to worry about like what she's gonna do when I'm not around.
Right.
Like, I don't have a problem.
It's foundation, bro. It's foundation.
Yeah, like exactly.
You gotta have a good foundation.
Yeah.
And it's and you know, and we can tell our kids all the advice of the world. At the end of the day, you modeling that at home, your that relationship, how you treat each other, not just how you treat her, but how you treat each other, right? It's important also for them to see like this is what's expected,
right.
The good and the bad, right? Like we're very open in our house on the conversations we have, and because we want the kids to see that, so they know this is how it's modeled and this is the expectation, without us having to tell them that. Like it's they see it, and they always tell us, you guys are always being silly. Like I'm a little bit of an introvert and kind of awkward in public, but I'm super like, and he knows me. I like to joke around. Like if it's in a more private setting, I joke around on a little bit more of the a party person, but it's like private. Like I'm talking about 3-4 people. As soon as the group starts to get a little bigger, like my anxiety just gets to me. But they see that with me and Aaron. Like me and Aaron, like sometimes especially if I'm stressed out, I put some good silly music on, and we'll just be cooking and dancing, and the kids like. I know I'm creating good memories when the kids are getting embarrassed of what I'm doing, right? Because I'm like,
absolutely,
so, you know, let's get some salsa.
Yeah,
like, you know,
dancing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I remember did it. Small things, bro. I remember all the small things too, even from my childhood, that really crafted, you know.
So, if you were to die, not putting it out there, I'm just saying, if you were to die right now, what's the one thing that you would want your kids to be left with about you? Like be known for? How would you want them to remember my dad?
It's a deep question, bro.
I know.
It's that's tough because I actually, you know, my wife has gone through that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I thought about, I ever since then, actually, I was thinking about it like, whoa, dang, what if I were to, or, you know, what if my dad were to? And something I want my kids to take is that I dedicated my entire life to them, and I'm going to, sorry.
All good, bro. It's all good. Our kids mean everything to us, bro.
Yeah. I would want them to know I made a lot of sacrifices for them. I changed my life. I mean, honestly, bro, like Amira had it the worst, bro, because I was addicted to Xanax when she was first born. I was addicted to sipping, drinking lean all the time, just caught up in like, you know, being young. So I would want them to know I changed my entire life so that they can have whatever life they wanted. I want them to have choices that I had choices, right? So I want them to have choices. I want them to decide what they want to do And I want them to know that if I were to go, whether it's today, tomorrow, whenever, that I love them more than my life itself. So I wake up every day thinking about what I'm gonna do for them, and I want that to be the way I live until the day I do go. So
absolutely,
that'd be a. I didn't mean to start crying.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I was trying to hold my tears back.
Sorry, bro.
That's beautiful.
I didn't mean to throw a curveball at you, bro.
It's good, bro. It's good.
I'm gonna ask you just to make it a little more lighter, a more lighter question.
Yeah.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be, and why?
Bro, a tiger, because my favorite color is orange. And ever since I was a kid, everything orange that was a thing was my favorite.
Yeah.
So oranges became my favorite fruit. My favorite color is orange, and my favorite animal is a tiger because it's orange.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I wanted an orange Lamborghini, but I don't fit in Lamborghinis anymore. So, I just want like orange cars. So I got an orange truck and anything orange, bro. So that's my favorite animal. My sister actually told me that she was like, you know what? As much as you love tigers, Ronnie, you're more of a lion. And this is Kiana told me this. She was like, and I was going through a. Yeah. Oh man, it was supposed to be a funny answer, bro. It's okay. It's all right, good, bro. This is what we're all about. I was going through a hard time in my life, and she was like, "You're more of a lion because like you're a king, Ronnie, and you're a leader." And
that's right, bro.
So I mean, I would say a tiger, but she would say a lion.
Yeah. Absolutely,
that's awesome.
Bro. Absolutely.
A quick thing about the thing that it just made me think about it because you're so tall. So my father-in-law is 6'8".
Oh,
or
wow.
6'7".
My father-in-law is 6'8" too.
6'6" or 6'7".
6'8".
Oh, damn, he was big,
dude,
bro.
Was huge Hawaiian dude, bro. Huge.
Yeah, they're Norwegian, right? So they got those Viking genes. Dude, the first time I met him, my English was terrible. I could not speak even worse than today, but really, really, really bad English. We picked him up from jail.
Oh, that was your first time? Yeah, that's right.
He had his beard up to here.
Oh, shit.
Big Viking motherfucker. He gave me the strongest
handshake ever.
And his hands are, they covered my entire hand, right? And I kind of prepared myself. I knew it was like, okay, he's going to try and intimidate me.
Yeah.
And, I'm no stranger to being around people that try to intimidate me. So I was like, but inside I was just dying. And he told me one time, he's like, you were so confident. I was like, yeah, well, I played the role well. Because I was not trying to. But anyways, the story that came to mind is like, he's tall. And then my sister-in-law's ex also was really tall. And they both love like Corvettes and stuff. And I remember we passed by this Corvette dealership one time. It's like, oh, let's go look at them. And we're looking at these sports cars, and they're just. And I'm not a car guy. Danny knows I fucking hate driving. My perfect car is a car that comes with somebody driving.
Right, come to chauffeur.
I don't. And so we're there, and these tall ass motherfuckers are like this, dude. Oh yeah, this is so cool. And I was like, get your ass out of there. I get in there. You see this? This car's made for me.
Not for you, bro.
So anyways, when you said that, I was just thinking of that.
Dude,
like,
I actually was trying to go. I was gonna get my first sports car, and I went to the Lamborghini dealership, dude. And I just got in there, and I was like, dude, how are these NBA players and stuff? They're like they squish them, or they cut, and they custom and they extend the plate in the back so you can push the chair back. I'm like, not your damn mind. I think I'm customizing a Lamborghini. So
Sergeant Hightower on Police Academy,
so
bro.
I was gonna do a McLaren, and then I fit in like the 720S barely. I was gonna do that. But me and my dad, we were gonna get matching Corvettes. So
right on, bro.
I'm not gonna fit, but I'm gonna make it work. Yeah.
But now you gotta send me a picture and make yourself as small as possible.
Yeah,
Put it all the way to
be all squished. I'm glad I lost some weight because that wouldn't have helped either.
Yeah.
Man, well, hey, listen, bro. We I think we went over our time, and I think we're leaving a cliffhanger because this is first of a 2-part series we're doing with you, bro.
Sure.
We got a whole lot more juice to get into, man.
We do.
But before we wrap up, we have a series of questions, just funny questions that we like to have people shoot off.
Let's do it.
So you want to do it with him just by himself here, or
Yeah. Well, he's on camera by himself.
Oh, okay,
so
that's right.
We'll just do it that way.
Man, I didn't mean to get emotional. I'm sorry.
No, bro.
Guys.
Hey,
that's
this-
beautiful.
This is
beautiful.
This is what it's all about. Like we really, like our purpose behind this podcast is we want to have real conversation.
Yeah, man.
Right, and sometimes it's gonna be just funny stuff. Sometimes it's gonna be sad, or sometimes it's gonna be emotional. That's what we want to talk about.
But I honestly, Ronnie, and I like for me, as I'm getting more used to this, understanding this kind of this side of the social media lifestyle, a lot of people forget that you're human, bro. Just the other day, and just really quick before we shoot off on this, I met a guy worth $500 million.
Oh, wow.
This dude was pushing like 70 years old. And I was talking to him, and we're talking and talking. At this point, I didn't realize that he was worth that amount of money, but we're talking, and I'm having a normal conversation with the dude, just like somebody I just met. And then towards the end of the conversation, I find out, like, holy shit, this dude. And I look at him, bro, and I'm like, there's nothing special about you. You're not even smarter than me, bro. You bleed just like I bleed. You cough just like I cough.
Right.
The only thing is you were very successful in whatever industry you decided to go in, bro. Right? So by you showing your emotions right now, bro, I hope that it shows everybody, bro, including myself, that you're human just like me, bro.
Yeah.
We all have feelings. We all work hard. We all have families. We're all emotional, but we all have feelings. And the one thing that I think I want people to leave with, you are a true family man. You truly love your kids and your wife, just like we do, bro. And I think what you did right now, bro, naturally was very beautiful, man. So thank you for that, bro.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Gave me a space I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Loud.
Let's go, man. So, hey, my first question is, what's your go-to meal for after a long day?
Give me a culture, because that can really define it. Like,
Well, let's do them this way. We're gonna do lightning round. So
okay.
just say
quick.
the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind, and I'm just gonna read them if you don't mind.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Because I read them before and he hasn't. So I'm
can
gonna
be quicker.
change it up, and then we'll come back to that at some point.
Yeah.
Pineapple or pizza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Coffee or energy drink?
Energy drink.
Okay. If your live had a theme song, what would it be?
Don't worry, be happy.
What's your go-to meal?
Steak, my wife's poke, some rice, and my sister's salsa.
The most California thing about you?
I say hella.
Oh, that's the second time we hear that.
Or Manny. I say Manny. That's more Bay.
Yeah.
That's Manny.
What's one thing you miss about the early Vine or YouTube days?
Authenticity. And doing whatever you wanted at the time.
Finish the sentence. My kids will roast me for...
My butt crack showing.
Hey, it's funny because that came to mind immediately, and you're like, "Do I say it? Do I say it?"
Dad, your butt crack is out. I swear to God, that's exactly what. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Well, that's it.
I got a couple. I got a couple.
Okay,
Real
go ahead.
quick.
That was good.
What's the last thing you Googled?
How to put up slat walls.
Okay.
Slat panels on the wall.
If you won $30 million right now, what are the first 3 things you're doing with your money?
Making sure that my kids are taken care of for the rest of their life, and my wife is taken care of for the rest of their life. That's one thing. Making sure my family's taken care of. Build homing and build homes for foster kids and children in need, and give a third of that money to my foundation, because there's a lot of families out there who have children, but they don't have the proper resources to keep their children fed.
Beautiful, bro. Last one for me.
Mm-hmm.
One guest you'd love to see on the Roots of Ambition.
Barack Obama. No,
Oh yeah, hey Barack,
Come on down, bro.
We'll go to you.
Hey, Barack Obama. He actually did a podcast. That's what I think that Barack Obama would be cool, because he gives like good perspective, and he changed the world, I feel.
Yeah.
He changed the world, changed America.
And he's from Hawaii, or he lived, he had roots in Hawaii, right?
But a person, ask me one more time, because I don't want to say Barack Obama.
I'm sorry. One guest you'd love to see on the Roots of Ambition.
My wife.
Oh, I was hoping you would say that, bro. I was hoping you'd say that.
We're going to get Mackie on here.
Yes, for sure, brother, for sure.
Maybe when I come back.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
We'll both come back.
That'd be great to have you both.
dude.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We're coming back, part 2, Future and Wifey.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Thank you for your time, Ronnie. This was great. You guys know the drill. Like, follow, subscribe, and look out for part 2.
Man, we got a lot of stuff coming. Stay tuned.
Cheers.
The Roots of
Cheers.
Ambition. Hold on,
That
let me
was
get
a
in there.
beautiful episode.
Let's
fellas.
go,
Cheers, fellas.
baby.
To success.
To success. Bottoms up. I forgot to tell him.
That's a good one.
So, Sarah Christine was on here.
Mm-hmm.
She's the owner of the California Gleeman.
that's
She
right.
said, whenever you drink wine, you're supposed to drink it with your left arm, because
No, when you toast.
when you toast.
When you toast is where your heart is. So we gotta do it again. Sarah, sorry we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't.
I'm
get
so
it.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
uneducated.
Yeah, we learning, Sarah. We learning. Shouts out to California Gleeman.
Salud.
Salud. Where the heart is.
Oh, man. This is good wine, bro. Peju. Whenever we go to Napa, we always stop there, bro.
Pays you. Heck yeah. We got to go back out to Napa, actually.
We got to, man. I was just I wanted
Just listen to Roots of Ambition.